Morning, everybody.
Morning.
Mental state of this team, Peter, right now, how do you think it is? And if you can think back to a year ago entering the postseason with the team you had then, how would you compare or contrast it to that?
So mentally and physically, I think we're in a good spot. We got tested down the stretch here and challenged ourselves and came out on top. So I think that's good from a mental standpoint. From a physical standpoint, I think everybody will be available to me for the start of the playoffs, so that's a positive thing. With regard to the second part of your question, evaluating how we were this year to last year, or how are we this year to the year we went to the finals, I really personally don't think that they factor into anything. I don't think they matter. I'm a believer that you got to wake up and make your day happen every day. And so when game one comes around, I don't think last year has anything to do with it.
Do you think the finish of the season does?
I think that you can take some confidence. I've seen plenty of teams that finish strong, lose 4 games and be out. So, and it's not necessarily guaranteed for anything. I would rather bank on having everybody wake up tomorrow, have a great day of work, come in and do the work and prepare, get some rest, come in the next day and do the same thing, prepare ourselves the best we can to go out on the ice on Wednesday night and work to find success. So it's just, for everyone that you could make a case for, history could make a case the other way, that it just doesn't matter. And so our team is in a good spot, as I mentioned, I think, in the first statement, both mentally and physically. They really pushed hard down the stretch to win the Central Division. We had to fight inside of those games to get that done. From a physical standpoint, I believe everybody will be available to me, and all of that's really positive, so it's a good spot.
What are you guys doing best, Peter, you think, as you head into the postseason here?
I like the way we've competed in the last couple games. I thought, when the score, there's been some scores of 2-0 that I haven't liked. When we went in after the first period, it was almost like jokingly like, oh, that didn't go the way we wanted, for a game that was a big game. But it's not because we didn't show up and play. We generated a lot of shots on net and a lot of quality scoring chances, and Cam Ward played a really good first period and a really good game. So you got to give him credit. Chicago came in and they were really trying to ruin our day, and so you got to give them credit for that. There were some things defensively in the first period where we had some breakdowns. It's not like we weren't there. If you go back and look at it, we had guys there and in position. They slipped behind us for a second. They're a talented group, and it ended up in the back of the net, and we hated to score. We felt like if we kept pushing in the game and fighting in the game that we could be successful. So I like the way we played the game last night. I like the way we played down the stretch. We're getting a good roll on the bench. We're utilizing all of our players and all of our defensemen. So that's what we need to do through the course of the playoffs. We're going to need contributions from everybody.
Some of the guys have said that lost to Winnipeg was kind of the wake-up call. Where they had 3 games ahead. You guys have had to come back a long way since then. Did you notice that change starting to kind of happen at that point? If you can.
Yeah, Austin came back around that point and solidified one of the lines. We got a little bit healthier. The Winnipeg game was a big game at that time, and it didn't go our way, and that was frustrating. But again, I've said it, you got to turn the page. Me, the players, everybody got to turn the page and focus on the work for the next day. And there was a long way to go. Back 10 games ago, even though everything was tight, nothing was really setting up in our favor. We had too many games extended out on teams around us where they had games to play and we didn't. And then I think too, just the tiebreakers not lining up our way, and so, but our guys kept fighting. I think we went 8-2-1 down the stretch, and that's a positive. That it certainly, I don't know if it factors into a game one. 8-2-1 gives you a little bit more confidence than if you go 2-8-1. And so I still feel like what's going to matter on Wednesday is not necessarily the 8-2-1 or the 2-8-1, I think what matters on Wednesday is us waking up and being prepared and going out and executing and doing our job. That will matter most. But finishing the season strong, I do think, gives our guys some confidence, and that's a good thing.
Is there more carryover possibly with a goaltender who's playing well down the stretch?
I think so. I think Pex has played. I think both of our goaltenders have had terrific years, and despite what we've had to deal with people not being available in our lineup, I think our goaltending has been really strong, and I think they've fed off each other. They've done a really good job, but Pex recently has been right on point. Juice was playing well too for the starts that he got, but Peck has had a terrific season, and certainly he's played very strong down the stretch for us.
Hoyles then pick your poison in the Central Division. Obviously, so many good teams. You guys get Dallas.
Yeah.
What problems might they pose? You guys had a great back and forth series in the regular season with them.
Yeah, I mean we're just coming in today and we're looking at their lineup. Some work's been done, but we've kind of kept it on the opponent that we've been playing. And you're taking a look at their lineup. They're deep. I mean, they've got 4 lines that can play, and they've got 6 defensemen that can play, and they've got guys that are waiting to play that are extras right now and waiting to get in the lineup, and they're deep right now. Some of the trades that they made through the course of the season, towards the end of the season, I think have added more depth to an already good team. They got some really dangerous players. The games that we've had with them have been excellent. They've got some skilled defensemen that can really jump into the play and move the puck and generate offense and shots from the back end. They've been one of the tightest teams in the league defensively, and so they're a really good team, really good challenge. But I think you almost could have said that about anybody that we might have had to play. You know, Colorado was one of the hottest teams in the league. They might have finished 9-0-2 or something like that, maybe. And Winnipeg's Winnipeg, and St. Louis, well, you saw their record from Christmas on or so. So there was no bargain to be had. It's going to be a good series, and I think everybody's probably saying the same thing.
Is the Western Conference, the Western Conference up for grabs because it has been such a tight season?
I think so. The fact that Colorado played so well, you look at Chicago and the way that they're playing makes it difficult. You play inside your division a little bit more than you do outside your division. We've got 2 or 3 teams that, we've got a few teams that just missed the playoffs, but they're just under the line. And so Chicago was pushing there for a while, and Minnesota was pushing a week ago to still stay in the playoffs. Those are good teams, and we knew that already. But anytime you have to play teams in the Central, they're tough games, and every game could go either way. And so that's why I think it took so long to decide it. Chicago goes and beats St. Louis, or Chicago goes in and beats Dallas, or Colorado jumps in when they're 1 point out of a playoff spot. They're playing for their playoff lives, and they were right underneath the line. And those teams to me are really dangerous, and they're capable of beating anybody. And you find yourself playing in the division just a little bit more.
What's the biggest challenge of stopping that first line for Dallas? Not to say the rest of the team.
Well, I mean, I think they're even split up based on the board that we have in there. And so it's not just stopping the first line. Like I said, their 4th line's really good right now. The way it's pinned on our board in there, you've got a guy like Jason Spezza, who's been a terrific player his whole career. And that's kind of how we're built too. If you think about it, we've got some pretty good players right now on our 4th line. So that's why I said the additions that they made and the additions that we made have made the team, that made the lines really balanced and capable for any line to have success. And
Sorry.
No, it's okay. And so I don't know if it's about stopping one player or stopping one line. They've got good balance on all their lines.
Home ice advantage last year, maybe not what you guys wanted it to be. You guys have that opportunity again this year to take advantage of that.
Again, it's one of those, it's almost kind of the same question. I don't have a crystal ball to see how home ice is going to treat teams or treat people. There's always those years where maybe it works in the first round and maybe it doesn't work in the second round, and I don't really know the answer to that. I go back to, if we can wake up and that day and do the work and execute our plan and do it with speed and do it with some attitude, we can find success given the choice to and play at home or play on the road. I'd rather play in front of our fans and play in our building. You saw last night, it was unbelievable, the atmosphere that our fans create here. So the fact that we don't have to travel right away and all of that, given the choice, I think any team would probably say that they would rather start at home and in their building.
The sampling that you've seen from Favreau give you confidence that he won't be overwhelmed in the postseason?
Well, last night was a big game. That was for me, that was a Saturday night in Smashville. The fans were terrific, and the way the building exploded, once we gave them a reason to explode, the way they exploded, that's, I think, where you see, he had a puck bounce on him on that first goal, and you wait to see a response from him and see how he does, because he is a young kid, and we put him in these games just to get a gauge on that, whether he starts or doesn't start. We wanted to make sure that he was in some situations, because I feel like we're going to need everybody in the room. If you play until mid-June, as you guys know, we went through so many players. It's a war out there, and there's casualties along the way, and we've got to make sure that everybody's able to play and everybody's able to contribute. So the time, Pitlick getting into a game, in his first game, and he looks better every day, and Dante being able to play some games, and he's been able to handle it and look good out there. I think all of that is really positive just to the depth of our team as we enter into the playoffs.
Sissons, Benino, Watson so good last year in the postseason. What's your confidence level that they can replicate?
Well, it's really good right now because of the way that they've played since they've been back. Austin looks really good out there. I thought when he came back the first time, he was good. He was working his way into it, but he had missed a lot, some training and training camp, and eventually comes back into the fold for us. And I feel this time that he had played some games. It was almost like I'm not talking about him, but it was almost at the time he was gone. Sometimes players are injured for that long, and they can jump right back in. You saw Phil and Arv do it. They're out for a month or a month and a half, and they're able to jump right back in. Austin was able to train and work out. When he got back here and practiced, he looked terrific in practice. So right away we made a plan for him to go to Milwaukee and play some games. When he went down to Milwaukee, he played really good. We called the coaches and they said that he was terrific. There was no rust at all. When he came back up here, we had been waiting, with a kind of a plan of the lineup on where we needed to get to, and we're just never able to get there. But we had a plan for that line to go back together, and so that's just the plan. Then they have to go out and they have to execute and they have to get it done. I think that they've been excellent since they've been back together. They look to me like they haven't missed a beat from the playoffs last year.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks,
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.